Hello everybody, this is the Voices of Russ Ballard podcast, special edition, 3 minutes with Marc Rapson. And your host for today, Ian Street.
We're sitting here in the, at the moment, very quiet lobby of the hotel. The band are being picked up in 20 minutes, so we very kindly, this gentleman is very kindly giving his time to us. So we're going to do 3 minutes with Marc Rapson, and this isn't about what Marc does in Russ Ballard's band, this is about Marc Rapson. So Marc, I'm going to let you talk in a moment. Before I do, I just want to give a brief, there's 2 things that I've picked up in the 24 hours we spent together. One is that in the sound check yesterday, your voice sounded absolutely amazing when you held a note longer than Gary Moore holds the note in Parisian Walkways. And also, we got to learn about your record label and the fact that you're actually a soul boy underneath all that. So tell us about you, tell us about your website, but your label, all the stuff we'd love to hear. And then the guys would love to hear.
I've been playing keyboards for quite a long time. So first and foremost, I'm a keyboard player and I've been playing live for a long time. But in the last maybe 15 years, I've been writing and producing as well. Right. And you're right, most of the stuff that's kind of at my heart, at the core, is soul. Different iterations, so it could be like kind of hip hop inspired stuff or dance orientated, but anything that's kind of soulful at the core is what I'm into, which is a good fit actually, because the way that Russ writes, I think, is very soulful. Yep. So even though it's kind of rock and pop,
yes,
there's soul in there, so that's why I dig it so much.
Okay. And you're introduced through Chris Ballard, who is Russ's son,
Christian.
Son, and he's obviously Christian. Sorry, I guess.
Yeah, it's Christian.
It's Christian, and he's very much involved in track source and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so Christian is a kind of fantastic producer in his own right. Obviously, he does stuff for us, but he does a lot of again, kind of like more pop and house and dance orientated music.
Yep. Okay.
And I did some remixes for his record label. All house stuff, which was kind of new to me, but again, I just put my soulful spin on it and they kind of liked it. And then him and his partner, his business partner Lewis, said you should do an EP, like a 4-track of your own.
Right.
And it took me about 2 years to kind of get the courage to do it. And then we released it and it became one of their biggest selling records.
Wow.
So it kind of boosted my confidence a little bit.
Tell us about, what's the name of that track?
That was the big track was called Heat. And it was featuring a really good friend of mine, Nathan Thomas. He was the vocalist on that, who again knows Russ from back in the day. It's kind of it all connects.
That's lovely. Can people stream that or listen to that if they want to? After listening to this, want to have
that's everywhere. It's released under Rapson, featuring Nathan Thomas, and it's called Heat. If you like soulful stuff. It's kind of got a bit of a 90s R&B tinge to it as well, so anyone who likes that. If you don't like that, there's no guitars on it, so I'm sorry for anyone that really likes guitars. There's no guitars.
But pretty chilled.
It is. I mean, it is kind of smooth,
right?
But it's totally danceable. It's it's kind of got a bit of a Detroit vibe about it as well.
That's good. So we will later on listen to the track, Ian, so put your dancing shoes on. I think that's a good idea. I will record this for the Voices of Russ Ballard podcast listeners. But this is no longer a podcast, this is a vlog, as they say today. Vlog, a video log. Marc, is there a website available where people can read a little bit more about you?
Do you know what? I don't think there is. I'm not in a position to be kind of self-promoting anything anyway at the moment. What I'm working on is other people's music. So, I'm producing and writing for others. So, you're right, I should have a website, but at the moment I don't have one.
But you're doing a gig. You told me that you're doing some gigs around Christmas time. So tell us about those.
So this is my other kind of my kind of major gig around what I'm doing with Russ is, and I've been in it for an iteration of it for over 20 years, and it's a disco covers band. So it's all the kind of classic late 70s, early 80s disco music. Which
is brilliant.
That stuff, again, it's all soul dressed up as dance music ultimately. So anything kind of Earth, Wind and Fire, and Kool and the Gang and the Bee Gees and
But not
Dan
sampled.
Hartman.
This is a live show. Right?
It's a live show, so it's a 7-piece band with a female singer who is by far one of the most amazing vocalists I've ever worked with, and she's kind of got the diva voice but zero diva personality.
Okay.
She is so relaxed outside of the
Are we allowed to know her name?
Yeah, her name is Sue Darwar, but it's the only band she does. But she's called Miss, what's her name? Susan Pinky. That's her stage name.
Right.
She wears a big pink afro.
Wow.
And maybe I shouldn't be talking about the band because you'll see what I have to wear in that band.
Oh, no.
It's very
like
different.
This. We want to know.
Yeah, well, it's very kind of like glam from the disco era, so it's kind of sequins and spandex, and we wear mirror-balled crash helmets. So it's like so much glitz and so much light reflecting everywhere. I love it.
Is this a public performance or a private one?
There's loads. We do public shows. The ones at Christmas are public. I just did 2 shows before we came to Germany, and they were public shows as well.
And where would that be? Where would be in kind of
most of
central London? Or?
Yeah. Most of the public shows are in Hertfordshire, so
Yeah.
kind of around where Russ and I live. But we play. It's a function band ultimately, so we play at lots of other kind of like things. We played at Wembley in one of the big conference rooms some time ago. It's good fun.
Superb. Thank you for your time.
We said we'd keep it to 3 minutes, so this has been 3 minutes with Marc Rapson. Thanks, Marc.
Thanks for having me.